Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rock and Roll Action with this newest installment of Building the Team. So, it's been a week and a half since our last one. Actually, didn't play this past weekend, but a follow up from last time. Ended up running. Excuse me. Ended up running the Batman family. Did okay. Could have done better, could have done worse, you know. Anywho, moving on to this upcoming week. 600, it's kind of a similar build theme. Whereas last time we did 400 points, no one over 100. This time it's 600 points, no one under 100. So, let's get started, shall we? I'm going to start off in the DC universe with a Secret Society of Supervillains team. Kicking it off with Captain Cold. A bit of an odd choice for the Secret Society, I know. Man is always more, known for being, well, a member of the Rogues, but yeah. So, Captain Cold comes in at 100 points. Has the Calculator team ability, which is a wildcard ability. He's got the Legion of Doom, Rogues, and Secret Society of Supervillains keywords, and as well as a trait, Frozen Field. At the beginning of your turn, you may place an Ice Block special terrain marker within range and line of fire. When a character occupying or adjacent to one of these markers attempts to move, it must attempt to break away as if the marker was a character that can use plasticity and is friendly to Captain Cold. Interesting. Apparently those don't go away either. I don't remember that, but that's the team I end up running with, yeah. Alright, so he opens up some running shot, which gives way to sidestep on speed. On attack, we open up with a special power, Absolute Zero. Captain Cold can use Precision Strike. When he hits with an attack, you may place an Ice Block terrain marker in that square. Cool. Okay, so you can basically keep on you can make 2 per turn, it would seem. Which are excellent ways to keep opposing characters from getting in close. Alrighty. The Absolute Zero gives way to Incapacitate. Then on defense we've got Toughness, followed by Barrier. Okay. On damage we open up with a special power, I lead the Rogues, as much as anyone else does. Or as much as anyone does. Captain Cold can use leadership. When he does, he may only remove tokens from characters with the Rogues keyword, and they are considered to have a lower point value. So, sadly, he's only really going to be useful with one figure of the team. Anyway, I lead the Rogues gives way to Enhancement. Alrighty, next up we've got Tar Pit. I dig the sculpt. There's one of those. This is one of those weird sculpts that, it just looks cool because of how odd it is. Anyway, Tar Pit comes in at 115 points, has the Calculator team ability, as well as the Injustice League, Monster, Rogues, and Secret Society Supervillains keyword. Okay, so at least we got someone that Cold can remove tokens from. That's good. He also got improved movement, ignores hindering training characters, as well as a trait, Trapped in Tar. When an opposing character targets Tar Pit with a close combat attack, after that attack resolves, roll a d6 and place living tar tokens on the character's card equal to half of the result. Once, for all characters with this trait, characters decrease their attack value by 1 for each living tar token on their card, and may be given a power action to remove all living tar tokens from their card. Those are always kind of fun to do, because it's like, yeah, well, you can waste a turn to, clear all that, or you can just deal with it. Anyway, on speed we open up with the special power, Living Asphalt. Tar Pit can use Plasticity. When he's given a move action, place tar markers into the square that Tar Pit has moved through. Other characters that enter a square with a tar marker must immediately end their movement. At the beginning of your turn, remove all tar markers placed by this character. Okay. So, you do have to be careful about opposing. It doesn't, as it says all characters, I would presume that means even flyers are affected by it, so. And they must enter, so, like I said, any means of getting around, you're going to have to deal with those. On the plus side, he's got a low speed value, so yeah. Anyway, Living Asphalt gives way to charge. Next up on attack, we open up with special power, Burning Hot. Tar Pit can use poison and super strength. Okay. That gives way to regular poison. On defense, first off, he's indomitable. We got some invincible. That gives way to toughness. And then at the end, we got some regen. So he can come back swinging. Then on damage, we open up with shape change, and we've also got some power. All right. Next up, we have Zoom. I really dig the sculpt, just with the translucent bit to kind of show the constant movement of Zoom. For those more from those, I can't remember if it was. Actually, I don't think he was. So, anyway, so Zoom comes in at 150 points. Has the Injustice League, Police, Scientists, and Secret Society, Supervillains, and Speedster keywords. It also has improved movement, ignores elevation and hindering terrain, and a trait, a human blur. Zoom can use shape change. Okay. So, as a speedster, obviously he opens up with hypersonic speed. That gives way to charge. On attack, we open up with a special power, Tragedy will make you better. When Zoom attacks an opposing character with the lowest point value on that character's force, modify Zoom's attack and damage value by +1. When he attacks an opposing character with the highest point value on that character's force, Zoom can use Precision Strike. Okay. Defensively speaking, you open up with Super Senses, which gives way to Impervious, ending on Energy Deflection. And on damage, here's kind of where he really shines. We've got a special power, I'm in all the timelines simultaneously. At the beginning of your turn, remove all timeline tokens from this card, roll a d6 and place the number of timeline tokens on this card equal to half the result. Remove a timeline token from Zoom's card, and he can immediately use probability control, even if he has done so already this turn. So, at the most, he can use it 3 times. Anyways, that gives way to his regular probability control. And then we got the big boy on the team, Despero. Some of you might remember Despero from an episode of Justice League Unlimited. It's kind of the thing where I knew of the character, and mainly because of I think it was the first appearance of his first appearance in comics. The cover was an issue of Justice League with Despero playing chess, and the chess pieces were done up as members of the League. And let's just say things changed for him after the Silver Age. Anywho, so Despero comes in at 235 points, has a Secret Society Supervillains keyword, as well as improved movement, ignores characters, and a trait, Psychic Juggernaut. Despero can't be the target of Incapacitate, Mind Control, Outwit, or Penetrating Psychic Blast by characters of a lower point value. That's gonna, yeah, that can hurt. So he opens up with Running Shot, that gives on speed. That gives way to mind control, which gives way to charge, which gives way to sidestep. On damage or on attack, we open up with penetrating psychic blast, which gives way to the special power psychic transference. Despero can use steel energy. It can use it normally or during range combat attacks that target a single character. When he does, increase the amount healed by 1 for each of the following the target can use: Incapacitate, Mind Control, Outwit, or Penetrating Psychic Blast. Psychic Transference then gives way to Super Strength. On defense, first, like Tarpit, he's got Indomitable. We got Invincible, then Impervious, then Vulnerability, then Toughness. And actually, his defense powers the names for them each give a said together to form a sentence, and basically Pytar empowers me, sustains me, shields me from harm until the end of time. Then on damage we open up with Outwit, and finally that gives way to the special power Mind Hunter. Despero may modify either his attack or damage value by +1 when targeting an opposing character that can use Incapacitate, Mind Control, Outwit, or Penetrating Psychic Blast. Sadly, it's not +1 for each, but hey, at least there's that steel energy power. That can definitely be a help, especially as it's mid dial. So potentially speaking, you could add 4. Let's see. Okay, it pops up on the second click. So you get someone who has, say, Mind Control, Outwit, or help, just Outwit. You hit him, 1, 2, boom, done. Back on top dial. I was really wanting to be able to utilize Gorilla Grodd as well, but maybe for a larger team. I have to keep that in mind for a future Society team. Okay, moving on to the Marvel Universe. Got ourselves an X-Men team. Kicking things off, we've got all-new Wolverine. Alright, so all-new Wolverine comes in at 100 points and has the all-new X-Men, Circle of 4, Weapon X, X-Force, and X-Men keywords. 3 traits. We've got unexpected team-ups. During Force Introduction, all-new Wolverine has all the keywords of one character she shares a keyword. She shares at least one of her printed keywords with. Okay. To be honest, that's not really something to worry about here. Then we've got Jonathan the Unstoppable Wolverine. As a free action, once per game, generate a Jonathan Bystander. The first time each game that Bystander will be KO'd, instead it isn't. The Jonathan Bystander, by the way, has Charge, Blaze Claws, Fangs, and Battle Fury. Sadly, however, it's not tiny size, so it won't be carried by flyers, so yeah. Actually can't be carried, so never mind, doesn't matter. Because Battle Fury. Then we've got Kickstarted Healing Factor. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6 and add the number of action tokens on all-new Wolverine. On a final result of 5 or more, heal 1 click. Then, looking at the dial, we open up with a couple clicks of charge and end with a couple clicks of charge. Straight down the line. Indomitable on defense. Yay. 4 clicks of combat reflexes and a couple clicks of regeneration. And on damage, we open up with Perplex and end with a couple clicks of Battle Fury. Alright, so moving on, we've got Bishop. Making an appearance once again. So Bishop comes in at 140 points, has the X-Men and Police Department keywords. He also has the Detective, Future, Police, and X-Men keywords. We open up with the special speed power, right? Yeah. Time Slide. Once per game, give Bishop a double power action to use facing teleport. When you do, you can use probability control until your next turn, and after actions resolve, you may give him a close or range combat attack as a free action. Okay. That gives way to Running Shot. Then we've got he has a sharpshooter ability, so he can make ranged attacks out of adjacency, including against adjacent opposing characters. But he opens up with a special power, Energy Redirection. He can use Energy Explosion. If he heals from his Energy Absorption power since your last turn, he has 3 targets and it modifies his combat values by +1. Okay. Then we've got that gives way to Penetrating Psychic Blast. Defensively, when you open up with Toughness, that gives way to Energy Absorption. When Bishop would take damage from an opponent's ranged attack, roll a d6 instead. On a 1 to 3, he takes 1 damage. On a 4 or a 5, he heals 1, and on a 6, he heals 2. Now on damage, we've got, I should have mentioned he's got Indomitable on defense as well. Damage, we open up Range Combat Expert, which gives way to Probability Control. Makes sense for him to have multiple ways to gain probability control due to his being from the future and whatnot. Next up, we've got Colossus. Running him on an X-Men team for once instead of an X-Force team. So Colossus comes in at 150 points. He has the X-Force, X-Men, and Armor keywords, as well as improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, and trait Russian Strength, which allows him to use Super Strength. He opens up with the special power Former Juggernaut on speed, gives him charge, and ignores and destroys blocking terrain. That gives way to Sidestep. Then we've got on attack Quake for most of the dial. He's Indomitable. He starts off with Invincible, then Impervious, then Invulnerability. And then, the middle 4 clicks of his dial, he's got Close Combat Expert. Yeah, this is a guy that's going to be, he is usually a huge problem. He's a threat you have to take down immediately. Anyway, moving on, we've got Magneto. So you're probably wondering, why is Magneto dressed like that? This Magneto is this is based on the storyline Age of X, where Magneto led the X-Men, and it was this very dystopic reality. As I recall, it was created by Legion again, but this was actually done so subconsciously, not because Legion did something stupid and and fucked with time. This was Legion kind of bringing everyone together. But anyway, so Magneto comes in at 210 points and has the X-Men team ability. He also has the Age of X, Excalibur, New Mutants, and X-Men keywords. And he's got a trait, Carry the Remains of the Mutant Race. Magneto can carry up to 6 characters. Adjacent characters that share a keyword with Magneto can use the X-Men team ability. Well, luckily, no, okay, yeah. If he's adjacent to All New Wolverine, she can use it. She doesn't have a team ability. Anyway, on speed we open up with Running Shot. On attack, we open up with Penetrating Psychic Blast, which gives way to Telekinesis, which then gives way to Energy Explosion. On defense, we open up with a special power, Fortress X. Magneto can use Barrier, Defended, and Vulnerability. When he uses Barrier, he may place up to 8 blocking terrain markers, and friendly characters adjacent to any of these blocking terrain markers can use Toughness. This power can't be countered by characters 150 points or less. Oof. That gives way to Invulnerability, and then Toughness. On damage, we open up with Leadership, which gives way to the special power, Look Down Upon the Human Rabble. If Magneto occupies the highest elevation on the map, modifies attack and damage values by +1 when targeting a character on a lower elevation. Okay. That gives way to Ranged Combat Expert. Alright, and that is our X-Men team. I really actually didn't intend to build 3-4-figure teams, it just kind of worked out that way. Anywho, moving on, back to the DC Universe, we got ourselves a Kryptonian team. So open things up with Superman. the animated version from Batman the Animated Series. And of course, oh, okay, so Superman was more on Justice League, was more on Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and Superman the Animated Series more so than Batman the Animated Series, but from the Batman the Animated Series set. So anyway, Superman comes in at an even 100 points. He's got the Superman team ability and the Justice League team ability. And he's got the Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis, and Reporter keywords, as well as the trait Justice League Unlimited. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 6, remove an action token from another friendly character with the Justice League keyword that's 100 points or less. Yeah, and that's not feasible. There's only one other character with the Justice League keyword on the team, and he's of much more than 100 points. Alright, so look at the dial. We open up with a special power on speed. I'll be there if you need me. Charge. Once per game, Superman can use hypersonic speed. Okay? This gives way to regular charge and then some plasticity. On attack, we've got some super strength followed by a little bit of steel energy. Defense, he's indomitable. And he opens up with an invincible, then impervious, then a couple clicks of invulnerable, and finally a couple clicks of toughness. On damage, we open with a special power, taking the hits my teammates can't. Leadership. Adjacent friendly characters can use Mastermind, but only to choose Superman. He's got that for 4 clicks, and then a couple clicks of Battle Fury. Next up, we've got Mr. Oz. Now, Mr. Oz comes from a story within under the banner of DC Rebirth entitled The Oz Effect. And amongst things he did, he kidnapped Tim Drake, making it seem as though he had been blown up, to keep him out of the way of events. And he's apparently serving a higher power, though. But Mr. Oz is actually Jor-El. He's apparently saved by Dr. Manhattan from the destruction of Krypton. Anyway, so Mr. Oz comes in at 100 points. He has the Hyper Time and Superman Ally team abilities. Now, the Hyper Time team ability, when an opposing character would move from a non-adjacent square into a square adjacent to a character with the Hyper Time team ability, the control D6 is rolled on 1 or 2. They can't move into that square. So if you've got someone with range and hypersonic, you're still okay. But if it's someone like, well, say Zoom, who has no range, that might be a problem. Anyway, Mr. Oz brings the Kryptonian, Cosmic, and Scientist keywords to the table. He's going to trait Waiting for the Time to be Right. Mr. Oz is 40 points. He also has a 40-point starting dial. He is KO'd when his dial clicks past the red KO line. Protected. Pulse Wave. So he can't be targeted by Pulse Wave. That's always a plus. Alright, so looking at the dial, we've got a couple clicks of Stealth, followed by a couple clicks of the special power, Technologies of My Own Design. As a free action, you may place Mr. Oz in a square within 6 squares. That's a square. Doesn't have to be within line of fire, just one square within 6 squares of him. That gives way to a few clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we open up with a special power, Intercept the Projection. Telekinesis. Whenever a character is placed by telekinesis, after resolutions, you may place that character within 2 squares in line of fire of their current square. Ooh. Again, no line of fire, no range needed. Just when it happens. So, for example, if he uses his telekinesis to place Superman 6 squares out, he can then say, okay, well, boom, boom. There you go. 2 additional squares. After that, we've got a couple clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast. On defense, we've got we open up with Super Senses, which gives way to a stop click called The Time is Right. Stop. Invincible. Mr. Oz can't be healed above this click this game. Okay. That gives way to a click of Impervious, followed by a few clicks of Invincible. And finally, on damage, this is where the figure really shines. We open up with a special power on damage, Manipulate from Another Dimension. Probability control with a range value of 12. When Mr. Oz uses it, he can use improved targeting, ignores blocking terrain, elevated terrain, and characters. And since he has a Superman ally team, but he can already ignore hindering terrain. So yeah, he ignores everything except for range. That gives way to shape change, and then we have the last 3 clicks of his dial. He has range combat expert. Next up, we've got Allura, who is in fact Jor-El's sister-in-law and Kal-El's aunt. Alright, so Allura comes in at 150 points, has the Kryptonian, politician, and scientist keywords, as well as 2 traits. First off is political expedience to save New Krypton. Friendly characters with the Kryptonian keyword are wildcards, meaning you could copy Mr. Oz's Hyper Time. Then we've got Supergirl's mother, Superman's aunt. Unique modifier, so only one. You couldn't run 3 Alluras for this and have them boot and have them do what they do, but when Allura is adjacent to a friendly character named Supergirl or Superman, modify their attack by +1. So you couldn't have 3 Alluras all like adjacent to Superman here. Pushing his opening attack value to a 13. Sadly. Anyway, so we've got some charge. Looking at the dial. Open up with charge, which gives way to hypersonic speed. On attack, we open up with super strength, which gives way to precision strike. On defense, we open up with impervious, which gives way to invulnerability, which then gives way to combat reflexes. And then on damage, we open up with leadership. And finally, closing things out, we've got Superman. The big blue. Now, this Superman hails from the Trinity War, so it's basically the New 52 Superman. Comes in at 250 points. Has the Superman ally team ability, as well as the Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis, and Trinity keywords, and a trait, New Kind of Justice League. Adjacent friendly characters with a lower point value and the Justice League keyword can use the Superman ally team ability. Friendly characters named Batman or Wonder Woman don't have to be adjacent or lower point value. Well, sadly, the only other character on the team with the Justice League keyword is Superman, who already has the Superman ally team ability, so yeah. Anyway, look at the dial. We open up with hypersonic speed, which gives way to running shot, which then gives way to charge, which then gives way to sidestep. On attack, we open up with super strength, which gives way to the special power freeze breath. Superman can use incapacitate. When he does, if he uses it as a close combat action, he may target all adjacent opposing characters. If he uses it as a range combat action and hits the target, an area of effect may include all untargeted characters that are adjacent to a hit target. Then on defense, he's indomitable. He opens up with invincible, which gives way to the special power true invulnerability comes from within. Superman can use impervious. At the beginning of your turn, if Superman was damaged by an opposing character's attack since your last turn, heal him of 1 damage. That gives way to regular impervious, and then super senses. Then on damage, we open up with a special power Inspiring Hero. Superman can use leadership. When he does and succeeds, modify the attack and defense values of all friendly characters +1 by +1 until your next turn. And note that they don't have to be, it's not adjacent, it's just all friendly characters. Finally, that Inspiring Hero gives way to Range Combat Expert. Alrighty. So that is it. Going to be it for this week's Building the Team. Tomorrow we'll be doing the usual weekly comic book rundown. Thursday night, Friday morning, depends on when it the uploads are done. We'll have a review of Godzilla up for all y'all, and it's a good possibility we might be taking the weekend off because of being busy. So anyway, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are in the description box down below. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. And as always, this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.